I just thought I was musing, so I thought maybe I'll make a video about my musings. And I was sort of just musing about what it is to feel that there's nobody that I'm ever going to really be around again, or how can I say, or ever will take this from again. I'll never be around people who require me to play myself down again. I'll never be around anyone who will want me to really to make a joke of myself, which I completely initiated, probably because that's how I was brought up. Is to never take yourself seriously, really, and definitely one of the biggest tools of oppression, I suppose, because these are all tools of oppression. My aunt, I've just spoke about today, one of her main criticism of a person, people, would be is oh, they love themselves, they do. Oh, they love themselves down there. Oh, they really love themselves. That, to my aunt, is the most heinous crime a personality can actually commit as a human being, is to love themselves. That's the absolute abhorrent characteristic of a human being for my aunt. Now, if that doesn't damage a person's self-worth, really, I don't really know what will. And that's very normal. It's a very normal British, especially English, criticism of a person. Oh, they love themselves. And, it's fucking weird, isn't it? I mean, so yeah, I mean, what does that even mean? You think? Because I was sort of baffled by it, really, as a child, and sort of as a teenager. I remember one place that she said that people love themselves the most was Brighton, which makes it even more appealing for me to actually spend some time there. To go there and really fucking love myself to absolute bits in Brighton. And I just can't wait, actually. But it's very, very odd, isn't it? I mean, but, to think that you can just be, and that's just not a thing, is it? It's not encouraged. I don't think ever as a child, well, I know for a fact, actually, apart from maybe my mother might have said that, the only sane, humane person in the family, really. Sadly, she was lost. I'm not going to talk about toxicity, but toxicity, bit of a killer. And I'm telling you, I could smell mine that I've healed recently actually stank. There's blocks in my body that actually smell. It was so stagnant in there. I'm telling you, this is the power of healing, and this is the power of toxicity. Not really blaming anyone else, because I chose it, and that stagnation is inside you. It just keeps getting reinforced. The more stagnation that you're around, and the more that that you become. It kind of starts piling on top. You start to become stagnant, and then other things reinforce it. And then because you were brought up in complete stagnation with neglect and all the rest of it, that's normal. So then it's like, oh, more stagnation. And until you are literally, you can't even breathe with it. And, and it's the aversion to my stars and my astrology. It's like you've got an aversion to stagnation. And it just shows you what the unconscious can do, is basically make you addicted to the thing that you most hate in the whole wide world. And for me, that is stagnation. And I am so fucking glad to get to the bottom of that. With death around as well, you become very attuned to stagnation, because death couldn't really be more stagnant, could it? Let's face it. And it does. When you have loss in childhood, it stays in your body until you process it properly. And that took me until a few months ago. So my mum's death, I've only just really processed that properly, because I found out how to do it pretty controversially with the existential kink method. It just naturally happened when I started doing existential kink. So, and it's freed me. It's freed me a lot. And my whole energy changed. My whole energy changed completely after that one time of doing that, and finding that was the biggest kick that my unconscious ever had, was my mum's death, actually. And I just let her feel it. I let her feel the kick of it, of all that loss, all that trauma. I let her have it, and then she's gone, all right, you can move on now, have some other feelings now, because you've let me feel that one. So it's very interesting what happens. But I just thought, again, my musings, just being you, like I was going to say, the only sane person in my family who might have said just be yourself might have been my mum, but it was never really going to come from any of the others, because being yourself, I mean, what does that even mean for most people? Especially the very heavily programmed, traumatized, there to just put on whatever show is necessary to get whatever they want. So, the sort of the narc side of the spectrum, there's no such thing as being yourself to them. And that's why I am so alien, because it was like I couldn't not be myself, but I felt very wrong for being myself, because I was constantly told, be more like this, be more like that, by my family, because they really, really fucking hated me being myself. They despised me being myself in every way. It was like, don't be like that. Be more mysterious. Be more like this. Don't be like that. Don't behave like that. Don't feel like that. Don't do. And so being yourself, I was like, what? What even is that? And like, what are you doing? Like, not just, I don't know, putting this thing on that they want to see to make sure that, they don't feel fucking triggered by you or something. I don't even fucking know what goes on with them. But it's very relaxing. And the thing is, you don't think, when you are like me, you can actually relax, actually. It's only really being around people who don't think that you should relax and you need to be putting on a show all the time. Those people don't understand that you can actually just be yourself and relax. So it really threatens them. And so they constantly will sort of hound you to be putting on more of a show for them to feel more comfortable. And because it's a mirror and it threatens them. It's like, well, I can't be myself. Don't you be yourself. How can you be there relaxed and not wanting to you know, have to put on a show to please everyone all the time? Why are you so special? You know, and there's a lot of resentment in it that you can just actually be yourself. And because they feel that pressure as well, because it's all a vicious cycle. But actually deciding never to be in close proximity with anybody who puts that pressure on me ever again is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. And that's why I kept getting drawn back into them again, because I was like, oh, this feels normal now. All that pressure, that feels normal. Oh, yeah, having to sort of be like a trained monkey, that's much more what I'm used to. Oh, that's much better. When there's loads of pressure, when everybody wants me to be a certain way, and trying to, you know, that I should be conforming, and even if I'm not, I've got to make a story about why I don't conform to, you know, watching this or knowing what this pop music is, or, you know, why I don't do that, or what, you know, the novelty value of me not conforming to whatever it is that people conform to. You know, and I just don't want to actually be a novelty, funnily enough. I'm sure people probably think that that's an act as well. You just want to be a novelty, don't you? Because they just think everything is a show. And that's what the sad thing is, isn't it, for me? I mean, I find it sad that people actually still think that that's a construct. That you just being you is still... Of course there's constructs in it, of course there's trauma programming and whatever that's gone in there unconsciously, but people don't really, it's like it doesn't really register. Like, how are you just being? How can you just be? So you know, and it's a novelty, and it's also, but, you know, I kind of don't want to be a novelty. I just want to be able to, like, chill the fuck out and have a normal chat and you know, and have a laugh, but not feel like, just not feel pressured about anything for no reason. You know, and I didn't allow myself to feel pressure. You know, the last few years I have been very much more myself than I've been all my life, probably, in a lot of ways. But still, I just think that, you know, it's that thing of, I need to also understand it's a whole new world for me to be out of just not being around people who just don't get me. Because no one should have to do that. No one should have to do that. And I know, you know, and then again, you know, I had this thing of like, oh, you know, I'm just another person. I'm just normal. You know, my dad's thing, he's so eccentric. I mean, and I can't even say the word eccentric about him, because he's so not a conventional character in any way, shape or form. But he's got this, he's hell-bent on this sort of the earth, working class, you know, thing, that he's just normal and he's going to be around normal people and do normal things, like sit in the pub all day, but, like, you know, that he's not different, and he's not, and that, where's that landed him? Alcoholism, not doing creative things, misery, a life of misery, and I don't really want that. So I am embracing my weirdness and difference, which it's not weird, it's just it's in my fucking astrology, but my difference, you know, celebrate it. And I won't sit there and be, even if it's like, at the end of the day, my path is very unique to me, and so is everyone's. And to be pressured into conforming in any way, shape or form is a form of torture to me, actually. And it has made me very, very ill. And I don't believe that human beings should be tortured, personally. So I'm going to set this human being free from torture, and absolutely not be conforming to anyone's standards in any way, shape or form ever again, even for a second, of the rest of my existence. Thank you very much. I just thought I would share that with the world. And it does feel very relaxing, and it feels kind of daunting, and it just means that I know now I'm going to have to put my fucking foot down if I'm ever again, encouraged to, even though I am funny, and I'll be funny when I want to be fucking funny, to kind of play myself down, whether it's in joke form or whether it's, because no, I'm not going to do that. Because it's actually a form of, it's abuse, actually, is what it is. Nobody should play themselves down. We're all infinite beings co-creating with the universe. So the last thing that the goddess wants, especially a woman, to be doing at this time, and also men when they're healing themselves, any gender, should not be playing themselves down as a being on this earth. They should be walking in their path with their head held high, arms outstretched, with no inhibition, and also to be like, oh, you want me to play myself down? No, I won't. So that's my musings for this evening. I hope you enjoy the rest of yours.